Hi everyone, it is week 6. Oh my goodness, week 6. All right, so just to let you guys know, we are learning still with Frindle and we are doing the Wonders Book. This week, we're going to really focus in on problem and solution. So first, we're going to review what we've done in class before, and then we're going to continue that learning and how it's broken up into sections and how the problem and solution, just like we've done previously in our chapters, how there could be one big problem and then there's small problems throughout the story. And we've talked about this with Charlotte's Web previously in class. Before we go on and I start talking about that, I want to let you know this week all of my surprises are actually clues, because you know that I told you, me and Mr. B told you that this week on Zoom on Friday will be a scavenger hunt. Yes, I'm super excited. So what I'm going to do is, if you watch the end of every single one of my videos, I'm going to read you a clue to one item that I will call out during the scavenger hunt. So you'll already be able to have it next to you so you're ready to go. So remember, listen to the end so you get a clue onto what item you need to have next to you. So I have 4 videos this week, so you'll at least be able to get 4 items right next to you, so you don't have to go running for them. All right, let's get started. Here we go. So we are doing problem and solution. We're looking through our text, and in our text this week, there's going to be multiple problems and solutions, because with any story, there's going to have a big problem, and then there's going to have like smaller problems. And this is what we've previously gone on. We know that problem and solution is a part of the story structure. Every story is going to have a problem and it's going to have a solution. And you know, in the beginning of our story, the author sets up our story for those characters, setting, and then gives you that conflict, that problem. Just like in Frindle, we've already read the characters in the setting, but we haven't read the problem yet. And that's what we're going to be reading tomorrow and on Wednesday. But then, you know, in the middle of our text and our story, there is some events, the ways they try to solve the problem. And then at the end of the story is the solution. Now the solution might be a good one to the problem, or it might just be one that you didn't expect. So there's always going to be some type of resolution at solution. However, this week, all of this might also take place into one chapter. And that's how the chapters build upon each other, because there might be a big problem, but then there might be smaller problems within the chapter. And there's events that they try to solve in that chapter, and then they have a resolution at the end. Doesn't necessarily mean they solve the biggest problem. For instance, in Charlotte's Web, when we read that one, we know that our big problem at the beginning of our story was that Wilbur was going to be eaten at the end during Christmas. They had all the way to Christmas time, that winter time, to get him like prepared, or to find a way to not have him be killed for Christmas dinner. So they came up with like little problems like Templeton being mean, and Wilbur running out of the fence, Wilbur winning the prize, whether he was going to win it or not, Charlotte dying. Those are all the little problems. We know what the biggest problem was, but we have also these little problems that lead up and that connect, and that's what we're going to be looking at, how our chapters and our paragraphs connect to each other to make the whole story. So those small problems connect to build up for the whole story. So ways in chapters or paragraphs that you can find a problem and solution, because there's going to be multiple, are signal words. And these signal words includes because, I'm part of, as a result, consequently, this led to, or if then. So sort of like cause and effects here. So if you remember these words, if you see these words, they're going to help you. They're going to trigger like a cause or effect, or like a problem and a solution. So try to remember those words to help you when you're reading, when you're looking for those problems and solutions. So I'm going to put this one up here because it is the story structure. The beginning, middle, and end. And you're going to find that problem in the beginning of a chapter, and you're going to find the solution at the end of the chapter. and they're gonna all the chapters will connect one big story. So here we go, you guys. Today, I actually had you read a story, a true story about John Glenn. Here is the passage. So John Glenn, you learned, was an astronaut. And in this reading, you will notice there's not one big problem. Because in his life, he didn't really have a big problem. He had a lot of little problems. So when you were filling out the problems and the solution, you should have chose, well, in this case, it's not chapters, paragraphs, or sections. You should have chose one of them to find a problem and then write the ways you try to solve the problem and the solution. Now, all the time, there's not going to be 3 ways they try to solve the problem because these are small sections. Most of the time, though, if you're reading a bigger passage or a bigger chapter, there will probably be 3 types of ways they try to solve the problem or things they do to try to solve the problem. So remember, this part right here is the events, the ways they try to solve that problem, those details. So you should be using this graphic organizer today, and you should be using it when you're reading your Frindle for each chapter. Here we go. So you should have read John Glenn. And then I gave you some questions that have to deal with problem and solution. All right, let me get my pen up. And the first one, number 1, said, reread paragraph 2 on the first page of the passage. What problem did John Glenn face? Well, over here, this is paragraph 2, because here's 1 and here's 2. So you should have reread this one. And when you reread it, you will have noticed that his problem was that Glenn signed up for the Army, yet he was not called to serve. This was a problem for Glenn. He even said that this was a problem for Glenn. World War II broke out. He joined the Army and he wanted to serve, but they didn't call him to serve for World War II. So that was a problem for him. So let's go back to the question and write that down. So I went back into the text and looked, and here we go. So what was the problem? I'm going to actually write this in instead of writing it. He was not called to serve. That's what it said when he joined the Army during World War II. And if you notice, you can do WW and the Roman numerals for 2. And we learned those Roman numerals because of Charlotte's Web in class, guys. So WWII stands for World War II. All right, so that is the problem he had. And question number 2 says, how did signing up for the Navy solve Glenn's problem? Well, let's go back and look. So clear that off. So we had the problem right here. This was the problem. So let's read the rest of it, figure out how he solved it. Because you always have the problem, then you have the solution. So we had the problem at the beginning of this paragraph. Now let's get to the end and find that solution. He wanted to serve his country, so Glenn joined the Navy. So that was the event he did. There, he became a pilot. As a pilot, Glenn fought in World War II and the Korean War later. So there you go. He wanted to fight in World War II and serve his country. He joined the Navy, and he was able to become a pilot. So there we go. Let's go back to that question, and then we will write it down. I'm going to type it. So, by joining the Navy, Glenn became a pilot and was able to serve in World War II. There you go. So how is the solution? Instead of being in the Army, he joined the Navy, and the Navy took him and showed him how to be a pilot to join. There we go. All right, next, let's reread paragraph 1 on the second page of the passage. Okay, that's over here. What problem did Glenn face? what was the solution? So this question is actually two questions we have to answer. First, we have to answer, what problem did Glenn face? Then we have to answer, what was the solution? So let's read that paragraph. John Glenn had become a famous astronaut. Still, he had another goal. He wanted to be a U.S. Senator from Ohio. In 1964, Glenn campaigned for the U.S. Senate. Sadly, he had an accident and hit his head. He was badly injured. He could not keep on running for Senate. All right, so there's the problem. So I'm going to stop right there because I found the problem when I reread it. John Glenn had an accident and could not keep running for Senate. I use my exact words in the text as it said here. He had an accident and hit his head. He was badly injured. He could not keep running for Senate. So I said, John Glenn had an accident. He could not keep running for Senate. So my next thing was, though, what was the solution? Remember, I have to answer both questions. This can sometimes be tricky. Make sure you don't just answer one, you do both. Because on your test, if it tells you to support your answer with details, or it asks you to answer both questions, you need to make sure you do both to get full credit. All right, so what was the solution? Let's read on. Yet Glenn did not give up. Okay, so he didn't give up. That was an event that happened. He tried again. So he tried again. He used his skills as an orator or public speaker. There you go. There's those events. So you had a problem in the beginning. Then he did not give up. He used his skills as a public speaker. And the solution was, as a result, as a result, one of those key words that help you know there's a problem or there's a solution. And as a result is a key word. So as a result, he won a Senate seat in 1974. So there's that keyword helps us know there's a solution there. So I'm going to put down, he did not give up. So he won Senate seat in 1964. So he did not give up and tried again. That's what I'm going to put. So there's just some events that he did. He did not give up and tried again. Let's put that down. So what was the solution? He did not give up and tried again. And the solution was he won the Senate seat in 1964. Directly from the text, I use exactly what I read in the text. So just going back and rereading helps you and connects. So now you know all these paragraph connects because you can see he didn't he didn't give up here. He didn't give up when he wanted to serve his country in World War II. He joined the Navy instead. Here, he didn't give up and he waited and ran for the next election. So as you can see, John Glenn, all of his problems, he always kept on trying and there was always a solution at the end. So there you go, you guys. He is a great example of never giving up, and even when the toughest times come, you keep on trying, and you will reach your goals. And so all these connect to show that, all these paragraphs connect and show that. And the one thing they're mostly showing, let me go back to the beginning so you can see how this is a story structure, how they all connect. Let me clear it all off, that many people admired John, and he was an American hero. So it shows right here, they were talking about all of his problems and then how he solved all of his problems, and they all connected to show, they're all details that connect to show that he was an American hero right there. So as you can see, story structure. Now we're working on each individual section and how there's a problem and solution in each individual section because they all connect to show a bigger picture, to show something important in our text. All right, like a theme or like a main idea. In this case, it was a main idea. So keep a lookout in your chapters and your sections when you're reading for all these problems and solutions. And then think about, okay, what are they trying to say with all these problems? How do they all connect? That main idea or that theme. All right, guys, well, this is it for day one. But let me give you a clue to the first item that you need to have by your side for our scavenger hunt. Here's the first item, or first clip. It is an item I mentioned on last Friday's Zoom before we got off. It was an item I said on last Friday's Zoom. I said this item when I was telling you about the scavenger hunt on last Friday's Zoom. So make sure if you know what it is, make sure you have it beside you this Friday. All right, guys, see you later. Bye.